Hello sisters, welcome to this module. This module is about your spiritual wisdom and how to activate your quantum healing powers. You know, how do you express who you are in the world? If we look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it's a pyramid, right? And on the basis of that pyramid, most of the masses are interested in things like their immediate needs, you know, the food that they're eating, you know, where they're sleeping, their basic needs, shelter. And then you move into symbols of power, being seen, being significant, having connection, community, and that sort of thing. And then a lot of the time that's where it ends for people. There's only a small percentage of the population that are truly interested in self-actualization. It narrows, right, as you get to the top of the pyramid. Now, I believe that we're in times now, pivotal times, where our self-actualization is going to be a necessity for our survival. Your self-actualization is going to be important for this planet. It's going to be important for our survival. And the faster that we can begin to elevate our consciousness into higher thinking and higher realms and higher states of awareness, the faster that we're going to be able to overcome the pervading forces that are happening between good and evil right now on this planet. And I've never believed more strongly, you know, that the time is now. I've never believed more strongly that if we do not do this, I wonder if our species will even survive. So right now, you're in the most perfect time to be doing the work that you need to do to up-level your awareness, to increase your state of pure consciousness, so that you can be in a state of receivership, not just for yourself, but for the planet. So the Divine Feminine Reset is really about activating your power, not just as a woman, but as a divine woman. A lot of people, when I talk about feminine power and the Divine Feminine Reset, they just hear feminine. How about the divine? So this module is putting the divine in our Divine Feminine Reset. This module is about activating in you your connection to God or the universe or whatever you call the omnipresence. All right. I'm going to refer to it in this module as God, because for me, God is everything. It is creation itself. It is the mother and the father. It is the male and the female, the elements of all that is. It is the energy that moves. It is love and light. And for me, my journey in spiritual wisdom happened very early. And it wasn't just a concept. I mean, yes, I went through traditional schooling of, you know, Christian systems and things like that. But my understanding came from real life experience of, you know, a near-death experience where I crossed over for a while into the light, where I was surrounded in bliss state consciousness and golden light, in beautiful, warm, enveloping, endless infinity, you know, of bliss state. And, you know, and then I've been lucky enough to experience that, not through plant medicine, which, you know, when I explain this, people say, oh yeah, that was a plant medicine trip. No, it wasn't. It was actually through the art of devotion. It was through the art of devoting myself to omnipresence, to oneness, to God, you know, to practicing, to being in a state of awareness It was dedicating and devoting myself for a period of time. Yes, I was in Ubud, but, you know, and yes, the environment really helps when you're there. But it was really the presence that I brought to the desire and the intention to heal from a deep wound that I was experiencing at that point in time. And ladies, I invite you to drop into this experience that, you know, just as the Leonard Cohen lyrics say, you know, the cracks are where the light gets in. Your wounds are where the light can enter and can fill you up, you know, greater than you ever believed you could be. You could be more elevated than what you probably realize. Did you know that you can experience heaven on earth? Did you know that bliss state isn't about, you know, this overused term like a beautiful smell of perfume or an ice cream or something? Bliss is a state of consciousness. Bliss is where you know that everything is one. Bliss is when you see the energy bands around every living thing, and you know for sure and certain that you are in the flower. You are in the animal is within you. You are in the plant plant is you. We are all one. We are all connected with bands of light that come from a source of love and divine guidance that you can access right now if you choose it. You can access this every day of your life if you choose it, so that you never have to worry and you never have to doubt that you are on the wrong or the right path, so that you are completely committed to loving presence, that you are committed to the loving presence of wanting to just commune with the loving omnipresence of what we call God, the loving creative force of this universe. You are not here by accident. You haven't traveled through galaxies and lifetimes to just come here by accident. There was a 1 in trillion chance that you were going to be born. Your soul incarnated right now at this present moment in time. This is a pivotal time. This is such a pivotal time on earth. And I just want to invite you to really consider that with all of your presence. So if you're listening to this and you're doing something else right now, like many of us women do, and hey, I bet there will be some people listening to this that are doing other things and attending to children or doing the dinner or, you know, whatever it is, checking your phone or whatever. And sister, I want to invite you to just stop. To just stop and drop in for a moment. And just feel with all your intention, all of your awareness. What was the vow that you gave to yourself? What was the vow that you took to come into this program to yourself? What was your intention? And if you haven't done that, I invite you to go back and revisit it and to do the ceremony. Because as you know, as a divine, beautiful woman, as a divine queen in this program, you're really being called into your highest presence. You took this for a reason. Your higher self called you here to do the work, to be present. Your presence is the gift. Your presence is the gift. The more that you can bring your presence, your essence, your truth into this moment to experience this on a deeper level, the higher you will be able to vibrate, and the more that you will get what you want. And not just that, but the greater good that you'll be able to serve in the world, the greater good that you'll be able to serve to your family, the greater woman that you'll be able to be to your partner, the greater mother that you'll be able to be to your children, the greater daughter, the greater sister, the greater best friend, the greater sister to your community, the greater leader in your life, the queen, the highest purpose. Your self-actualization depends on this moment, just now. Do you know that? On just this moment, because the more that you can bring your conscious awareness into each and every moment, the more that you can train your awareness to be fully present, the greater your frequency becomes, and the greater your resonance is. And darling, that affects everything in your world. Everything. Because everything touches everything. There are energy bands around every living thing, and even some inanimate objects are vibrating with a frequency. And if you just stop, stop long enough and bring your full and present awareness, just do it with me now. Drop into your breath. Bring everything down. Bring your awareness to this moment. Nothing else matters. Nothing else exists. The past doesn't exist. The past is just a memory, a set of captures in your mind and what you made it mean. The future doesn't exist. The future is your imagination. This moment right now, and right now, and right now, this is all that exists. This is all that truly exists. So the way that you show up right now in this present moment and bring all of your presence and awareness to this one moment, this is all that matters. So if you are here listening to this in this moment in time that will never come again, then you're in exactly the right place. And isn't it time? Isn't it time for you to practice being in a state of pure and loving conscious awareness? Doesn't your life and your quality of life and existence itself, doesn't that rely on you being here and being able to elevate your consciousness to where we are going? Because if you go, I'm coming too. If you go, we all go. If I go, I want to bring you with me. We want to elevate our consciousness into the next realm of reality, because right now I don't like the choices that I'm being faced with. How about you? I don't want my body to be owned, by drug companies. I don't want a lot of what's going on in the world. But what I do want is to commune with my fellow humans who are vibrating at a higher frequency for change, for elevation of our race. I want to experience the being in the human. How about you? So that's what this module is about. And I hope that you will take this trip with me and give me your full presence so that I can guide you in an experience here which can help you practice this state of training your frequency to be in the frequency of creation and manifestation and increase your ability to be the intuitive goddess that you are, because they burnt us for lifetimes for being able to access this power. Isn't it time that this stops? Isn't it time that it stops, that we are able to now tap in and access our power, our magic? The magic is within you. Your self-actualization only depends on you connecting to it. All of what you want, all of those goals and targets that you're setting for yourself and missing is because you are not matching the frequency of what it is. Okay, the target is there. Whatever you want is the target. That target is there. You are the arrow. All right, so all we have to do is get you into a state of alignment to be the arrow to hit the target. All right, if that's what you want. So dance with me, sister. Dance with me and dance with the divine. And let's dive in and begin to unravel all of the ways that stand between you and God, that stand between you and your target, that stand between your ability to up level and change your belief structure and your old thought patterns that don't serve you anymore, and to be able to up level relationships so that they become as loving and passionate as you desire, to be able to up level the conversations that you have, to be able to up level your ability to love yourself truly and fully and accept everything about yourself, to be able to up level your ability to just surrender and let go of all of the stuff that you don't need to hang on to be able to fully forgive and love your people that you feel have crossed you in any way. This is all available to you. This is all available to you. Heaven on earth is available to you. Bliss state is available to you. It is here right now. It is just a matter of you changing the frequency, just like turning the knob on the old radios until we reach the frequency that you desire. So let's dive in. So your spirituality as a woman, of course, is about exploring your deep innate sensuality and really feeling the embodiment, right? So we're going to go into embodiment in another module. So we're also, part of that is also in another module is on your sexuality and how to access your heightened state of ecstasy through your sexuality and sensuality. But that's not this module. This module, we're going to be really talking about quantum, about your brain and your energy field, and how I can help you access heightened states of your frequency. So we know that as a woman, being able to receive the frequency, being able to receive our gifts and the energy of what we desire is really important. So even our anatomy is about receiving. Our anatomy is also about creating and feeding, nourishing, giving. It's all part of our gifts as a woman, right? But let's talk about your resonance. So when you're able to receive, it's because you've been able to let go of things that no longer serve you. So we've gone over this on other modules, but let's talk for a minute about your biofield, your resonance. And if we imagine this as, this is your body and your emotional body, right? So you store a lot of your emotions in your body, and then you have different energy bodies outside of that. And then what I call your bioresonance is the field around you. So I have been in a situation where I have seen a massive bubble around me, and this was in a kind of a life or death situation. And I was given this bubble to be able to see it. It was pink, it was light pink, and it put me in a state of pure protection. And this has happened to me more than once, where the bubble comes and I'm able to go in, and I'm able to go into very heightened situations, life or death situations. And in two of those occasions, I was able to go in and save somebody's life. Now, I'm not saying this for, like I'm a saint. No, I believe that this is because I've had certain experiences where I've been working on my resonance over the years, and working on my energy field. And I started as a healer in my early 20s, where I was aware of how to use energy. I was channeling spirit when I was just under 5. Was the first time. My mother will say how she wanted to have me exercised by the family priest, well, the parish, the local priest, not the family. Oh, we did have priests in the family, but yeah, all of that, because she thought it was like a horror movie that I would be able to channel messages from higher realms, right, to help her. It was come to help her. But of course, she didn't see that. It was very terrifying for her at the time. And, just to know that, I guess I'd had a lot of experience working with this, because I'd had a very interesting, connection to God probably from my near-death experience. Who knows, maybe I was just born like that. I certainly have the idea that it was probably heightened around that time of my near-death experience at 2. And it never really went away. I was able to see different realities. I was able to see myself as an older woman, even though I was a child, in the mirror giving myself advice. So almost visiting from a different quantum reality. We won't go too far into quantum jumping in this session, but just to know that, there are other possibilities where you can be all of what you want to be in a different reality. So let's just use that as if it's a visualization for the state of the practice, and just know that you can access higher realms, you can access higher thinking. You can certainly use this for your self-actualization if you choose it. So choose it now. We're going to choose it now. We're going to dive in, and I want you to really think about a burning desire. So what is your burning desire? Think about a goal. Now, a goal is something, obviously, that you truly want, something that you want to achieve in the world. I want you to really get in a state of, yes, I want this. Really feel the emotions, really feel what it is, what it would feel like to have that goal. Go in a state of feeling it now. Now, from this, you should be able to spark up an intention. So it's not enough to just want something, to have a goal and want it. It's got to spark an intention around it. For instance, a lot of people will say, well, they want $1 million. Why? What's $1 million going to give you that you don't have now? What's your intention for that money? What will you do with that money? Okay, so think about that now. Let that intention spark on fire within you right now. Okay, I want you to feel that. So for instance, if you want to meet the one, if you want to have a better relationship or fall in love with a new relationship, feel the burning desire for that connection, and then tell me why. What's that going to give you? What is that union going to do for you? Okay, so that will then give you your intention. My intention is to, I want to have a loving union, to co-create, maybe to have a family, maybe to travel with, maybe to grow old with, and really enjoy, to laugh and share so much love and passion with this person, who knows, but make this the intention to love deeper, to know love deeper, to be in communion. All right. And now this will send out a ripple effect in your energy, right? And you might start to notice things shifting around you, or you might not. But here's the thing, to be in a state of receivership, you need to be in a state of, what did I ask you to do in the beginning of the video? To be in a state of presence. If you said presence, you're doing well. All right, so to be in a state of presence. When you're in a state of presence, you can receive the gift. Wonderful. So let's start this ripple effect happening right now. Let's just start this ripple effect. So thinking about this goal, feeling the intention and feeling it in the body, elevating your conscious awareness into this that is your essence, that is feeling into your essence, and really elevate that. Now, how do we change the state of your conscious awareness? Now, this is a really great example. So you may not be in a very, when you've set that goal, who knows, you may have been struggling to think of the goal, you may have been able to access it really quickly. Now, the way that you can access the feeling of it and the frequency of it, it may not have felt easy for you. And maybe it did. And if it did, well done. Right, now, if it didn't feel easy for you, then perhaps, just perhaps, you weren't in the right state of awareness to be able to access that really quickly. So what do we need to do? We need to alter your state of awareness. We need to alter your state of consciousness and bring you into a higher state of consciousness. Now, how are we going to do this, right? There are many ways to do this. Well, there's only a few ways to do this, actually. One of the most powerful ways to shift your consciousness and your awareness is through meditation. Now, a lot of people have a love-hate relationship with meditation. Meditation is simply by a state of presence, is bringing your presence, of quietening down the mind. Now, where people go wrong with meditation is that they believe that they need to control the mind and stop thinking, oh, damn it, I failed again. I'm thinking about my shopping list or what happened at work or whatever. Therefore, I failed. That's rubbish. I'm here to tell you, throw that idea away. Throw away the ideas that you have around meditation. And really, you can employ a state of mindfulness to your meditation practice, where if you want to know more about mindfulness, please look up the master on mindfulness, Thich Nhat Hanh. And he has some beautiful audio books. I can post them into the group. He has some beautiful recordings. Please let me know if you want to receive. He is the master. He was by Martin Luther King's side when he was writing his famous speech, I Had a Dream. He won the Nobel Peace Prize for bringing peace to the world. He's just an incredible master. He has some incredible teachings. So if you want to know more about mindfulness and how to practice this, please look up some of his teachings. And really, even if you were doing that and beginning with that before even doing meditation, and so you can get a state of, you can still be walking. You could be doing a walking meditation. It's just by way of slowing down your thoughts, by bringing focused awareness. Sometimes if I'm out of time, I will use the practice of making my lemon tea. This is a story I often tell, and it's a beautiful one because it involves all your senses, of the way that I make my lemon water in the morning. So you're cutting the lemon, you're giving thanks, you're grateful for the lemon, you're feeling the skin of the lemon, you're taking in the scent, you're looking at all the segments and the creation of God in that lemon, you're giving thanks the whole time, you're bringing all your presence awareness, you're not rushing through your day, where's my coffee, where's the thing, you're shouting at the kids and all that. Don't worry, I've done that too. But when I'm in a state of elevated consciousness, this is the way that my day goes. And when for instance, if I have a day like that, like put the kettle on, blah, 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 out of control kind of morning, I check in with myself and I say, what's going on here? I'm out of alignment. I'm not in a state of presence. And I bring my presence back. And that can be your meditation. Just making your tea with a state of heightened awareness, with a state of heightened presence, you know, of knowing that this moment is a gift, of bringing that gratitude in by, you know, everything you do is a practice. Every little thing you do can be spiritual. Do you see? When you're walking, for instance, you could be, you know, just going for a walk, and you could be doing it in such a way, you know, they do it in a beautiful way in the monasteries, you know, where they think about their feet and they're giving thanks for their feet. And every single time, I do this on retreats actually, you know, you go with bare feet and you feel every point of your foot touch the connection with the earth, and you give thanks for the earth, and you feel the energy connect, and you feel the energy coming up from the earth through your body. And you know, you can make anything a meditation. So it doesn't always have to be that you have to sit and achieve. You know, it's not about achieving. Yoga is, you know, is much the same. I see people getting really uptight about postures. Postures are kind of like a side effect of yoga. Yoga is union. Yoga means union. It means a union between your inner self and God. It's your body, your mind, and your spirit. It is the union, and the postures are just an expression, a side effect of that. It's not about being fit and flexible and sexy in Lululemon, you know. It is a practice. It is yoga practice, the same way of meditation. It's not about judging yourself that you're getting anywhere. It's just about staying in the zone of conscious awareness. So knowing that the thoughts are there and breathing them out and breathing them in and breathing them out and letting that go, and just being in a state of receiving, right? Because what do we get in a state of receiving? We're receiving enlightenment. We're receiving higher messages. We're receiving deeper intuitive guidance. We're receiving all of ourselves. You will get to receive who you are and know yourself on a deeper level. You get to receive, you know, more conscious cells. You will receive the benefits of anti-aging. You will receive your cells rejuvenating and getting younger and younger and better. Right? And it's all possible. We are able to heal ourselves from any ailment. Dr. Joe Dispenza healed himself of numerous brain tumors through the use of quantum healing and meditation. You know, there has been, look up Bert Goldman. I bought his series of DVDs of many years ago now, maybe 15 years ago, on quantum jumping. If any of you have tapped into that, amazing. Now, Bert Goldman used the principles that I'm going to teach you in this video, which was taught to him through Jose Silva, one of the greatest teachers of our time on hypnotherapy and, you know, quantum healing processes. And he was able to create this program of quantum jumping, of creating, you know, of tapping in, if you like, to a quantum reality where he could be anything that he wanted to be. So he decided, well, I have no idea how to play music, and I would love to be an incredible musician and play concert pieces on the piano. And he did it. You know, there's evidence of him there playing the piano like an absolute pro, like an incredible, you know, he'd never picked up a brush before to paint, and he created art pieces. You know, he did quantum jumping where he was an artist, and then he creates these pieces. He sells them for like $20,000 a piece. You know, he created his own form of photography. He put this work to the test to decide that he was going to create himself to be whatever he wanted and to do things that he had never done before. And so he used this work that I have learned, that I want to teach you on, you know, on quantum jumping into whatever reality that you want to become, of bringing your full and conscious awareness by what? Becoming the arrow. Everything you want is there. It's the target. It's already there. If you can imagine it, it's already in the universe. It's already possible. If you know how to imagine it, it's already there. All you need to do is connect to it. And what do you need to connect to it? You need to upgrade your frequency, and you need to learn some tools of manifestation. So meditation, breath work. Breath work will pull you into a state of heightened frequency like that. Breath work you can do anytime, anywhere. The box breath, breathing in for the count of 4, hold for the count of 4, breathing out to the count of 4, hold out to the count of 4. This is a really good one when I use this one for people when they're in a heightened state of reactivity or stress. This is the box breath, breathing in for the count of 4, hold for the count of 4, breathing out for the count of 4, hold out for the count of 4, breathing in. See why it's the box breath? So you imagine the cube, right? Now, that's a very basic breath work. Then we have the other ones, which I've taught before, right? Left and right nostril. I'm not going to go through it now. We can have other demonstration videos on this later. We also have Wim Hof, very powerful breathwork techniques. You can look this up on YouTube. There are videos on Wim Hof practices. I will be doing a breathwork activation as part of our session at some point, so you will get to experience it. Because we're doing divine feminine work, it will be involving a bit of embodiment with there. So breath work is a way to elevate your state of awareness and consciousness, and to alter our state. This is when we really tap in and connect to our intuition. So our intuition, when we set the goal, the thing that most people get wrong with goal setting, and this is why women are able to be so magical, because men usually will do the goal setting, do all the structures and the business type stuff around it, and really strongly and just motivate and just power till they get it, right? But you can really wear yourself out doing that. Men are better at doing that because strength and force and pushing through comes more naturally to them. All right, this is just the way that we work as masculines and feminines. Women, if you're going to continue to try and achieve your goals like that, you're going to burn out. And guess what? You're going to become a bitch, right? Because it takes you out of your flow. And when you get out of your flow, you get short-tempered. People will tell you that you're being a bitch. You'll become like a bit of a right? I've done it because I've been in business for a long time. So I remember trying to do business in the way that I was taught, which is like a masculine model of business. It didn't work for me. It didn't work for me because I'm such a divine feminine queen. I'm so much in my flow. I'm so tuned in to my intuition. I'm much more interested in magic than what I am interested in trying to push and push and push towards a goal. So the way that I achieve my goals is tapping in, upping my frequency, and then switching on my, really, it's not like you switch it on, but you do switch it on it's like a side effect. Your intuition gets stronger and stronger when you do more of this work, right? So when my intuition is ignited and I just know, I just go, oh, this is it. I get this inspired idea. And so men will say, oh, well, that's just a shine. You're just chasing it. It's like, no, this is an inspired idea. I can feel the difference when I'm tapped in, tuned in, and turned on, right? Where you get to feel, okay, this is where I need to be focusing on. So my intuition comes in, and then you set the goal, right? When you feel that heightened state, you've done your meditation, you've done your walking. And have you noticed that when you're maybe in the shower or you're walking and you're purifying, you're cleansing your state, you get a more heightened state of awareness. The goal becomes clearer. Everything just sort of gets magically clearer. Okay, that's because there's no coincidence. That's just because you're switching on your intuition. There's an impulse, there's a light that comes into that thought. It's like that thought is more alive, yeah? That's your intuition speaking. And that will alter your state of consciousness if you keep practicing that. And eventually, if you keep practicing some methods that I'm going to teach you, you can even become incredibly psychic. Let that settle in. Okay, so as we were talking about the sphere, there was a purpose to it. This sphere can be activated and turned on by you being in a state of heightened frequency. Like you are so in your purpose, you are so in alignment, you're so in communion with God right now. The flow is just coming through you. Your crown chakra is activated, your heart is open, your back is strong, and you're going in to lead through your most divine queen activated way. Right. That ignites your biosphere to be like a powerful force of nature, where it either offers you protection or becomes a magnet to what you need to attract, and both. All right, where it puts you in a state of complete love and light. Love and light. Love and light. That's what it is. Okay. Now, let's go to let's go to the different states of consciousness. So we've got beta, alpha, theta, delta, and gamma. All right. Now, the one that we're going to be working with the most is sort of between alpha and theta. So when you are feeling, when you're feeling in a state of, like when you're in meditation, right? This is you're usually in an alpha state. So you're kind of aware what's going on. You might be aware of, sounds in the room, but not so much. You're very relaxed. Maybe when you're in communion with Mother Nature, this is another way that divine feminines really get in their flow of creativity, when we're with Mother Nature, when we're with the earth, when we're out, in the forests or by the ocean, and really communing with the frequency and the energy, right, of all that is. You might be in an alpha state when you're really in that moment and sort of tuning out to other things. So you could be in an alpha state then. In a theta state is when you're really deep in that sort of zone, like in a deep hypnosis. When I take you through activations, you might be going into theta. Some of you might be in alpha, some of you might be going in theta. Like when you come out of your hypnosis and you go, yeah, I kind of know what happened, and then you go, no, I don't. I kind of actually know now it's gone. I don't. That's because you were in theta. And you've become very highly suggestible to me, which is beautiful and magical and wonderful. And that's when I can tell you how wonderful you are and embed all these beautiful commands, right? Which I do, and especially in the divine resets. And I get you to bring forward your vision, and I install that through, when you're in that theta state, that brainwave, that awakened theta state, which is incredible. And so what we want to aim to do is to get you into these states. When you're in these states, you really heighten your awareness, you heighten your frequency. What do? You increase your ability to be able to be in communion with God, with the omnipresence, with all that is, to be able to do what? To increase your ability to what? Self-actualize, right? But what do you need first? You need to be present. You need to be present. You need to do what? Do the practices. Do the practices that get you there. The embodiment, yes, that's the expression and all of that, and the bringing it all up. But let's work now on the mind. Let's work on the mind and the state of being that you need to drop into. So in doing this, you can save yourself thousands and thousands of dollars on hypnosis with me, right? Because you can hypnotize yourself to be in these states at any time. Who'd be up for that? Do you want me to show you how? So in this practice, what you could do is practice this for 40 days. So Dr. Jose Silva, he suggested that this practice be done for 40 days. Now, I have often said 30 days. Dr. Joe Dispenza will say, if you keep practicing his quantum meditations for 30 days, you will completely you will upgrade your cells. You will be a different person, right? Now, I can attest to this. I can look back on photos when I have done deep transformational work, and I can see a shift in my skin, in my eyes, in my outer appearance, and I can see it in energy. Now, there is no denying that if you do this work, you will upgrade, parts of yourself. And if you want it to be physical, you can bring that into your conscious practice. The skin, for instance, is one of the most susceptible areas to this sort of work. On deep meditation and practicing these methods every day, the outer world, your skin is one of the organs that responds the most, right? So you can do this. Now, you could do this to heal any organ of your body. Last week, I did an activation in that session that was filling up your cells with light rays. If you remember, there were activations for your cells to come alive and to release toxins and to become, to reverse aging, right? All of this is possible, guys. You girls, ladies, queens, you can have all of this, but you must bring your full awareness to the work, and you must do the work. You just must do the practices. So would it be worth it if you could give up the first, say, 15 minutes of your day to dedicating yourself to this practice? Yes or yes? I hear a yes. So let's go. So the alpha state is when you first wake up and you're kind of cute, and you can, you're kind of like, oh, good morning. I had this dream last night, right? I'm always told I'm really cute in the mornings, and then I'm kind of, not so cute. But yeah, so the first 5 minutes of your day is when you're in alpha state. You're in a really beautiful, relaxed zone. You're just between, you're in a bit of a groggy state. Now go to the bathroom, do whatever you have to do. All right, give thanks. All right, first thing you should always do. And then sit up straight. Sit up straight and get ready to drop in. So what you're going to do is, in that moment, and if you have to set your alarm to do this, do it, right? This is going to help you self-actualize. Are you here to make change on the planet and in your life? I hope so. If it's important to you, you'll do it, right? So then you're taking this moment now. In the first couple of weeks of doing this, you're going to count backwards from 100 to 1, because you're probably not used to putting yourself through this, into this deep states, right? So you're going to count from 100 down to 1, and when you get to 1, then you're going to imagine the screen, the goal. So remember, we did the goal. You saw the vision. You're going to bring that vision up in front of your mind, and you're going to see it, right? You're going to experience it. You're going to go into all the emotions of it, the feeling of it. You're just going to see it, and that's it. Come out of it, move on with your day. And for the next few weeks, you're going to do it from 50 to 1. And for the next couple of weeks, you're going to do it from 25 to 1, until eventually you'll be really honed in the practice of it, and you'll be counting from 10 to 1. So for those of you that have done hypnosis with me, you'll know that I'm counting you down. You'll see the staircase, and I'm counting you down from 10 to 0. That's when you hit the valley of deep hypnosis. So now you're going to learn to do this for yourself. And you're going to learn to master yourself. So let's do it now. Let's do it now. So sit up straight. Close your eyes. And don't worry too much if you feel that you're not achieving getting into the alpha just yet for this, but suggest to yourself that because of your full and conscious awareness and your desire, your burning desire to make a shift and a change, you are going to bring yourself into a deeper level of awareness. And so take a deep breath in, and on the out breath, we're going to count down from 10, 9, going deeper, 8, 7, going deeper, 6, going down, feeling very relaxed, 5, deeper, deeper, 4, feeling very relaxed, 3, deeper, deeper, 2, relaxed, 1. And now see in front of you the screen of what you truly desire. See yourself in the picture and turn up the brightness. I want you to really see and feel what it feels like to have all of your vision come to life. In this moment, you're transcending time and space to experience what it feels like to be that person that you're creating, the best version of yourself in the scene that you want and desire, and with the people that you love and desire. And now, come awake. So you can see it's a very simple process, okay? And of course, you may not be in that alpha state right now, and that's okay. But you're going to do this when you are in an alpha state, the very first thing in the morning. And when you very first start doing this, you'll be counting down from 100 to 1. So you'll be getting yourself into a very deep state of relaxation by then. And then you'll see the vision. Okay, and you're going to see that vision every day for 40 days. Now, I promise you your life can change. I told you the story about Goldman, who created the quantum jumping and what he was being able to achieve. Now, there are everyday people that have been able to realize their dreams and activate their mission and attract the partner they desired and, you know, what was good for them in this life. And so I want you to really play full out and give that a go. And before we move on too much, I want to also explain another couple of things you can do when you're working in the realms of frequency. So we talked about theta state and an awakened theta state where you can create whatever it is that you desire, go into a deep hypnosis. This is when I would be typically taking people through that. And then the other state is delta. Now, some of you might know this from talking about sleep patterns. And delta is when you are deep sleep, when you get the most rejuvenation, right? So this is where what your cells need to really get what they need to refuel, you know, and repair. And many people believe that when we're in these deep states of sleep, of this zoned out state of delta, is when God and, you know, communion with spirit can happen. Now, many of you may have experienced this already, where loved ones visit you in your dreams, but it felt so real, and they passed on these messages. And that certainly is my case. I get to, you know, speak to ascended masters. I've spoken to my father passed over, my grandmother, one of my best friends, you know, visited me many, many times. I've been awoken by other spirits in my sleep, messages for other people, which I've had to put boundaries on. But yeah, all of that can happen while you're in delta state. And most of it you don't remember, right? So most of it you don't even remember. But many people lucid dream. I know my son has always been a lucid dreamer, and one of my daughters. So they are able to lucid dream all the time, control what's going on, move in and out of dreams freely and easily, being able to communicate with other beings, in that state. And that's a wonderful thing. So the more that you can attune your frequency, the more that you're able to do this. Now, another really important healing tool for you and how you can use your frequency and your spirituality is, when we go into this, so if there's a problem, like a persistent problem, like think about something where, it's something that you don't know the solution for. So I'm not talking about the goal and your dreams and what you're manifesting, and so you can use your creative frequencies for that, but this is something that you don't know the answer to. So there's a persistent problem and you don't know how to get rid of it, or you have this persistent doubt about yourself and you don't know how, it's not overcoming yet. Perhaps in your business you want more sales, or you want to attract a certain client, or whatever it is. Okay, this is the moment where you hand it over. So I've gone through rituals with you, and one of the most incredible rituals is to write down what you want to achieve the next day. So have a book by your bed. Get used to having more than one journal, ladies. So an evidence journal to record your evidence of what happens, right? We went over that in the initial module 1, I think. Then we have a gratitude journal that can be sort of in the same book, if you like. Gratitude, giving thanks for all that is, and using gratitude as an attraction weaponry to bring in more of what you want, so that you notice it more. You bring in the energy of gratitude so that you're receiving, always in a state of receiving, always grateful for everything that's being received. The other thing that you can do is have your diary there that you want, your to-do lists. So most women have many, many different things that they're doing. Your home duties, your business duty, your work duties, your stuff to do, trips to plan, whatever it is, kids to plan for. Write down all the things that you need to get done. Do your lists before you go to bed. And then if there's anything that you have a real problem with that you don't know how to overcome, and this can be anything really big in life as well, you hand it over right then and there, and you consciously hand it over. You hand it over to God and you say, I don't know how to resolve this. So call in my angels and my saints, Jesus, God, whoever is your master that you speak to on the higher realms of, high frequency. Let's even just say God, right? Or dear universe. Hand it over. Don't hand it over to, loved ones crossed over, by the way. Don't get yourself into the habit of speaking to, you can, like if you have a parent crossed over or something like that, but really get into the habit of speaking directly to higher frequencies, God frequencies, okay? Because often newer souls still need to go through a lot of processing, a lot of healing before they are able to help you really manifest bigger things, okay? So hand that over right then and there, and in that delta state, you can receive your answer. So I'll tell you about a little experience of mine. I was about to go and speak on a big stage in Sydney a few years ago, and I was terrified because it was the first time I was really speaking about my spirituality, right? And I had deep persecution issues around my spirituality. Don't forget, I'd already had near-death experiences as a kid. My mum wanted to have me exorcised by the family priest. I was told by my grandmother that if I told people too much of what I could see, that I would be put in a mental home, with love. She absolutely adored me, but she was also intuitive. So she grew up in a generation where you could not speak about such things, because they literally would put you in a mental home, right? So, I grew up with the fear, and then, of course, being put into a Catholic girls' school, more fear, right, about, speaking your truth. So When I was about to go fly to Sydney and leave behind my little girl, who at the time was around 4 or 5, I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified. And I started to make it about her and believing that, perhaps it was my intuition speaking, and perhaps there was something I needed to be fearful of and a reason why I shouldn't go, or perhaps something terrible was going to happen to me. Now, I knew that wasn't true because I'd been shown this before. I was about to leave with my family on a trip to Thailand, and it was just before the tsunami came in. Everything was paid, done. We were going. It was school holidays. That was it. My husband at the time, and he only took one time off a year from his business, and that was going to be it. So I really wanted to make the most of it, and we were going to Thailand. Well, I had a very vivid dream about that tsunami, and that I couldn't find my daughter Zoe, and that I was terrified. I was looking for her everywhere. I'd lost her. There was this huge wave. There were buildings falling, people everywhere screaming death, all of it. And I woke up almost screaming, and I told my husband then, and he said, cancel the damn trip. We're not going. Thank God. I mean, it was terrible what happened that year in Thailand, but my intuition told me that was no way around it. There was no way we were going on that trip. Now, this was something else. This was like a fear, and I wasn't sure what the fear was, but of course it was about me speaking my truth, and it was probably old fears from past lives about being persecuted. Now, I hope you don't mind me sharing personal stories here, but I really feel like it helps, in the visualization of what I'm talking about. Now, I handed it over to God, right? Now, there's been many, many times where I've handed this over, and I invite you to do the same. If there's something persisting, hand it over to God and trust that you will receive your answer while you're in that delta state. Now, my daughter came into my room in the middle of the night, and she turned on my light. She never, ever does that. She hasn't done it since. She's never done it before. She turned on my light. Bright, boom, wide awake. I sat up, was like, what's going on? She said, Mummy, you're a gift to the world. And you are the gift. Oh, you have gifts to share, and you are the gift to the world. That was it. I said, turn off the light, sweetie. She turned off the light. She got into my bed. When she woke up in the morning, I asked her, do you remember what you said last night? Do you remember turning off the light on the light? She said, no, don't remember anything about it. I'd handed it over to God, and God sent a messenger to me that I couldn't deny. Now, okay, that's my story. I went to Sydney, I did my talk. I came into my power in some ways to be able to speak to you about all these things now, right? And to not be afraid. I mean, to me, it's just second nature now. I've talked about it a lot. But part of your power, as in your divine feminine power, is to be seen in your power, to be heard in your power, to share your story. This is why I'm asking you to do lives, right? This is why I'm asking you to step into your power and speak your truth. Speak, tell us, let us feel your spirit. So this is all part of receiving, right? You hand it over to God. It's a dance. You hand it over, you go to sleep, you go into delta state, you get answered. You may or may not remember. You probably don't. You may or may not get a freaky sign like I did. You wake up, your prayer is answered, the question is resolved. Your block, your obstacle is removed. Is it magic? Maybe. I don't know. Kind of seems magical to me sometimes. And what's wrong with that? Magic exists. That is what spiritualism is. It's an expression of energy. You can't always measure this or explain it away with science. I love that they've found a way to explain frequency. I love that there's a scientist. I'm a massive science head. I love science, but equally I love spiritualism and things that can't be explained, and magic and mystery. And I think you have to take a balanced approach with this. And with our divine feminine, we feel it, right? You have to allow yourself to feel. So it can't always be measured and thought in the mind, and you can't always even explain it to your masculine counterpart unless you're very lucky to have a very intuitive partner, you know, which is great, because then you can have these conversations and they're not thinking you're, you know, whatever. But just enough to know that